So hello friends, in today's lecture we will be discussing about fundamentals of sensors, and we have already discussed the fundamentals of sensors in our last lecture. Now we are going to discuss about the classification of sensors. So classification of the sensors we are going to discuss, and the classification will be based on various techniques. So we can classify the sensors as a passive and active. We can classify the sensors as absolute and relative, as well as we can classify the sensors on the basis of analog or digital type, as well as there are many types on which basis we can classify the sensors based on working principle, convergent phenomena, input quantity, contact, non-contact, and composition type. So we are going to see classification, why or what the passive and active means, what absolute and relative means. And you may find that many sensors, they follow in different classes, even though the classification is based on these parameters, but the many sensors, they are in 2-3 classes. Okay, so the same sensor you may find it as a passive, and the same sensor you may classify on the basis of working principle. So classification, we are doing it on the basis of these parameters, and so our focus will be basically on these parameters: working principle, convergent phenomena. So our focus will be on this one. So most probably these are very important: working principle, input quantity, analog and digital, contact. So they have a importance again. So depending on what kind of applications you are using, so you need to go accordingly, and there is a overlap of all these classes. So basically we can classify it into passive and active, absolute, relative, analog and digital, and we'll see one by one. Okay, so sensor classification, we first discuss about what do you mean by passive and active sensors. So passive sensors, they don't need any additional energy source. They can directly generate the electrical signal in response to external stimulus. That means if you apply physical quantity to that sensor, that will directly generate it to electrical signal. So input is energy, and that is converted into output signal in the form of electrical energy. So stimulus energy is converted into electrical energy. The examples are thermocouple, photodiode, piezoelectric sensor. So what are these? We are going to discuss it in when we go in detail with all the application oriented sensors, that is unit number 4 or 5. At that time you will understand the meaning of thermocouple, photodiode, and piezoelectric. But you just try to understand what do you mean by passive and what do you mean by active. Passive means you don't need any external energy. That means you apply the energy to the sensor and it will be directly get converted into electrical energy. That is called as a passive sensor. Active sensor requires external power for their operations. That means they need excitation signal. So these signals are also, or these sensors are also called as a parametric signals. Parametric signal because the sensors change their property to the external effect. So the best example is thermistor. The resistor will change according to the resistance will change according to temperature, and the change in resistance you are able to understand only when you pass the current or you apply the voltage to that one. So this is how you are going to change. That means you require external excitation like voltage and current. You need to pass it through thermistor. Then and then only you are able to identify the change in resistor. So that is why it is called as the active type of sensor. So active type of sensor, it requires external excitation. So you need to apply the external power to operate these sensors. The example is thermistor. So these are the example of piezoelectric type of sensor. So this is a piezoelectric sensor. So here you red line will generate a positive terminal, and this is the negative terminal, and this is a plate, and here it is piezoelectric material. So when you put a pressure on that one, that will automatically generate a voltage, and that voltage will be converted, that can be sent to next circuitry depending on your application. So this is how piezoelectric works. We'll see its working principle as and when we will go through the different applications. Now the next sensor classification is absolute and relative type of. Absolute and relative type of. What do you mean by absolute sensor? So absolute sensor detects a stimulus in reference to absolute physical scale. That means, let us consider that there are certain temperatures. When you measure the temperature and thermocouple, let us take the example of thermocouple, which is example of passive sensor also. So the absolute, that when you are measuring the temperature with the help of thermocouple, you are measuring it with Kelvin. So that Kelvin you need to convert it into centigrade, and accordingly you have to calibrate the equations. So you are measuring it with the Kelvin as a absolute physical scale, and you will be measuring with that one. So that is independent on the measurement conditions. Whereas relative sensor produces the signal that is related to the same spatial case. So here the example is relative pressure sensor. That means the pressure, again the pressure sensors are of two types. It is absolute as well as relative. I have taken the example of relative only. In relative pressure sensor, you are measuring the pressure with reference to zero pressure. Otherwise, in active pressure sensor, you have to measure it in vacuum. So this is what the difference. You are measuring it with vacuum, and you are here in relative you are measuring it with zero pressure. So this is how you are checking it, and the relative sensor will produce the signal according to some spatial reference. That's why it is called as a relative type of sensor. Now next sensors will be sensors based on the classification or the working principle. They are classified on the basis of working principle. So we can classify the sensors as a electrical sensor, magnetic sensor, photoelectric sensor, potential type of sensor, then charge sensor, semiconductor sensor, resonant sensor, electrochemical sensors. So through this course you are going to learn all these parameters. Electrical sensors that exhibits the electrical properties. So you consider the example of this one, resistive sensor. So whenever the resistance will get changed, that exhibits that whenever you apply the stimulus, the resistance of that substance or the resistance of that sensor will get changed. Similarly with the capacitive sensors, when you apply external stimulus, at that time the capacitance will get changed. Inductive sensors, the inductance will get changed of the sensor. Magnetoelectric sensors, again it is related with the magnetic effect. So that will create a produce. And AD current, you have already studied what you mean by AD current in your electrical subjects. So electrical AD current will also get changed because of the external applications of energy. So these sensors, they are in the category of electrical sensors. Then magnetic sensors, again few of the magnetoelectric sensors and magnetic sensors, they may be a part of these magnetic sensors. Photoelectric sensors, again the photoresistive, that is the LDR is there, then photodiode is there. So all these type of sensors which exhibits or which shows the change in parameter or the change in output based on light, so we call it as a photoelectric sensors. Then the potential type of sensors, again these will generate the potential as an output when you apply the energy to that one, so that is called as a potential type of sensor. The charges will also get changed, so there will be a surface charge will be there, and when you apply the energy, that surface charge or that charge across that plate will get changed, and that will be sensed as a change in charge, and accordingly you will be getting. So we are going to see the concepts related to this in next unit. So just try to understand. So based on the working principle, we are classifying the sensors. So semiconductor sensors will be there, resonant sensors will be there. So resonance will change according to the principle. So strain gauge type of, which will be used in bridge, so this will change the resonance of the bridge. So electrochemical sensors will be there. So these are the working principles: electrical, magnetic, photoelectric, potential, charge, semiconductor, resonant, electrochemical. So these are the working principles, so we can classify it on the basis of that one. So here it is the example of capacitive and resistive. So you can see here it is a lane sense sensor, it is same one, and here it is the gap. So we know that between the two plates, if the air acts as a capacitive material which is having its own permittivity, so when you press it or when you touch it, its permittivity will change because the distance between the two plates will change. So if D is going to change, this is going to change the capacitance of the circuit and this change in capacitance will be checked in a circuit, and that circuit will sense the change in capacitance and it will be calibrated to a change in voltage or change in current, and accordingly that will be displayed. Okay, this is what the pressure or this is what you have checked it. So next one is the resistive one. So when you press it, so you can see that now the sensor material is in between, so this is going to change the resistance of the material, and this material change in resistance will be detected. Now you can see the even though the two diagrams looks like the same, but the working principle is totally different. Here it works on a capacitive principle and here it works on a resistive principle. So the material here is a air in between the two plates, and material here is a resistive material which is changing because of that change in pressure or change in force applied to the surface. So this is how you are exactly you will be checking how the values are changing. Now we are going to see the sensor classification on the basis of conversion phenomena. So conversion phenomena, there are two types of conversions: energy conversion type, which is an active type, self resource type, power generation type. So it is active type of phenomena. And the second phenomena is energy control. You are controlling the energy, so that is called as a passive type of so these are the active type and passive type of conversions. So you can see the sensors based on that applications. The most important, the parameter here we are going to see it, what is the input quantity you are measuring, what is the input quantity you are measuring, or a physical quantity you are measuring. So we know that whenever we say that it is a temperature sensor, it is a pressure sensor, displacement sensor, speed. So you can see these examples nowadays in various applications. So you know the importance of that. So whatever may be the quantity you are measuring, so on that basis I will call that sensor as a temperature sensor. So if I come up with a simple sensor and say you just test it, now you need to apply each and every parameter to that one and you have to check. But if I say this is a temperature sensor, you can directly put it to your application depending on your depending on the specification required by your applications and required by so specification will also play a very important role in this criteria. So basic point here is which quantity you want to measure, which physical parameter you want to measure, that itself will become a classification parameter for sensor. So if it is a temperature, if you are measuring a temperature, then it will become a temperature sensor. Then again there you can classify this one as a passive or this one as a active, or you may classify it as a again analog or digital depending on the applications. Okay, so here on the basis of input quantity or a physical quantity you want to measure, this is a measurand. Okay, these are the measurand quantities. So you are measuring this temperature, pressure, displacement, speed, humidity, light, gas, or any non-electrical parameter, then we will call it as a that sensor is called as a input call it quantity based sensor. So here it is a gas sensor used for methane sensing. So this sensor I have shown here in a diagram is a methane sensor. So if you want to check the methane, then in that case you can use such type of sensor for methane sensing. Then the best example is analog sensor as well as digital sensor. So if you convert the non-electricity measured operand into a continuous changing voltage or current, then we'll call it as an analog sensor. That means if your output of sensor is analog, simply you call that sensor as a analog sensor. And there are some sensors which will directly convert your quantity, your parameter, sense parameter into a digital quantity, that is in the form of 0 and 1. So that is called as a digital sensor. So here in case of analog sensor, you need a signal converters or signal, what we call, you will be requiring, you need to process this signal with the help of signal conditioning devices. Here you can directly process this signal of the digital sensor with the help of your microprocessors or microcontrollers. So this is what the difference. Here you will be requiring A to D conversion. Before that you need to have a signal conditioning devices, that means amplification, noise removal, circuitries, filters and everything. And after that you can apply the signal to the ADC, and that will give you the signal into digital format. Here you will be directly getting the output into digital format. So this is what the difference between analog signal and digital sensor. So you can see the outputs of analog and digital. So this may be output depending on the quantity you have applied to the sensor. So that will generate a continuous signal. So you can call it as a digital analog signal. And in case of digital signal, you will be getting a direct 1 and 0, 1 and 0, 1 and 0 type of pulses depending on the signal you are applying. So you will be getting a direct digital signal. So you can process these signals with the help of this. So we can classify the sensor as an analog as well as digital sensor. Now we can classify the sensor as a contact sensor as well as non-contact sensor. Okay, what do you mean by contact sensor? Contact sensor is the sensor you directly apply it to the body. The parameter which you are measuring, suppose you want to measure a surface temperature, then you need to apply a device which is a contact type. You need to apply that sensor directly to the body of that device. Then you are able to measure the temperature. So such kind of sensors are called as a contact type of sensors. So most probably these sensors are potentiometer type, strain type, capacitive type. So the best example of this one is a strain gauge you are using. You know that you are measuring weight, your individual weight, digital weight you are measuring. So when you stand on that weight machine, and that weight machine consists a strain gauge. So when you put on that, because of that your weight, that strain will change its length, and because of change in length its resistance value will change, and it will be detected in the format of bridge, and that change is directly proportional to your weight, and you will be getting your direct weight. So this is a contact type. That means you are directly coming in contact, even though that weight is not connected to you directly, but you will get in direct touch with that sensor. So there are certain examples like that one. So non-contact type means they are not at all connected with this one. So this is the best example. This is the ultrasound sensor, where you can measure the various parameters related to that one. So where you can measure the level of any device, either it may be a liquid, either it may be total length you want to measure. So that is you are going to measure it. Another sensor is this is IR sensor. So here it is a transmitter. Here it is a transmitter. This is a transmitter and this is a receiver. So in most of the toilets you can find such kind of sensors. So when you use this, or even in your doors also, if it is detected, so the best example of this IR type of sensor is your toll, on toll. So such kind of sensors are used. So when a vehicle pass through this, here it is a transmitter on this end and here it is a receiver. So when the vehicle pass through this one, so at that time the toll will, that gate will automatically get lifted up. So this is what the non-contact type of sensors. So this is the example. Then the last classification, there are many classifications, but I have considered these only. So basically you can consider only passive active, then relative and absolute, analog digital, contact non-contact. So these are the broader classification, and on the basis of all these principles. So here it is a composition. So basic sensor, combined sensor and applied sensor. So basic, it is a single convergent device. It will directly convert the signal. Combined, in a sense, it may have a different signals combined together. So yesterday we have seen the example of that one. So 2-3 signals transducers will be combined together. So that will be called as a combined type of sensor. And applied sensor, it is either it may be a basic type or combination of both. So depending on your application, you will be putting it as a applied sensor. So depending on that, the composition, again depending on the material, again depending on the applications, again you can classify it again the basis of organic, non-organic, then on the basis of physical parameters, structural parameters, you can classify the sensors. So physical parameters and structural parameters, they will simply how you are combining the sensor, how you are packaging the sensor, that also matter. Depending on application, so you need to select all these sensors accordingly. So classification will be done in this way. So this is how you are working with the system. So this is how a sensor classification will be done. Now when we say that when we are measuring a particular parameter, so all these parameters are physical parameters, and when we say that there is a weight, okay, so weight in what? In grams, in kilograms. So you need to understand what kind of units you are going to apply for these sensing elements. So there are certain units that are available in the that are universally accepted by the manufacturers, as well as that are universally accepted by the scientists, the researchers. So we need to understand what kind of units of measurements are there. So the most important unit is SI unit. The basic measurement system is of SI unit, and it stands in a French that Le Système International des Unités. Okay, Le Système International des Unités. So this is the System International des Unités, that is called as a SI units. And apart from that, the SI unit is a modernized metric system that is universally accepted. Even though there are many countries, these countries are not using these SI units also, but many manufacturers, those who are going for such kind of devices, or those who are manufacturing smart devices, they are using these SI systems. So other physical quantities are derived on the basis of this base unit. So the parameters we are going to see, I'll give you the example, few parameters related to that one, and you are familiar with this one. Since your school days, you know these parameters, or you know these units. So CGS units also you know that, but we basically based on SI units. So there, apart from this, there are two types of units that are used. One system is called as a Gaussian system, and other system is called as a British system, but mostly SI is used. So we know that length is measured in meter, then mass is measured in terms of kilogram, time is measured in terms of second, electric current is measured in terms of ampere, and thermodynamic temperature. Now this is very important, and not only temperature, this is the thermodynamic temperature. Thermodynamic is the principle that is related with the physics and mechanical activities. So thermodynamic temperature is always measured in terms of Kelvin, and whenever you are measuring the angle, so its SI unit is not in degree, it is used in radians. So radian you can convert it into degrees. Suppose if you want to convert the meters into kilometers, or meters into centimeters, the kilograms, or the meters into any other unit, then there are certain parameters, there are certain length factors you need to multiply with this one. You need to multiply with these units. So the conversion factors are there. So I'll give you the best example. You just go through your mobile app. In mobile app there is a calculator, and that calculator consists of this type of conversion units. So one unit may be get converted into another unit. So you can find that 1 meter is equal to how many feet. So you can convert the feet. 1 meter is equal to how many yards. Okay. So you can easily find out such kind of distances or such kind of lengths, and you can easily note down. And there is a standard tables are also available, which are measured as a universally accepted conversion tables, so you can use as parameters for converting this. So you can change the Kelvin into centigrade also, you can change the ampere into milliampere, you can change it into charge also, and so on. So this is how you are going to measure the units, and these units are very important when you are going for any sensor development or any sensor selection for your applications. So you need to know these units of measurement. And with that, I'll stop here for today's lecture, and we will meet in the next lecture with next unit, that is called as a specifications of the sensor or sensor characteristics. What characteristics are there that are associated with the sensors, we are going to see it in next lecture. So just to repeat today's lecture, I'll just repeat it in few lines. We today tried to classify the sensors on the basis of working principle, on the basis of input, on the basis of its signal generated, analog or digital, on the basis of power applied, whether it is a passive or active, on the basis of the references you are taking, absolute or relative. So on the basis of contact type, whether it is a contact or non-contact, and on the basis of conversion techniques. So this is how we have classified the sensors. So many sensors, they may fall in 2 or 3 categories, so don't get confused with that one. So you just try to understand, the focus should be on which type of sensor it is and what kind of application you are going to design, and whether you will be requiring any external source or power consumption, low power requirement. So this is the need of our. So considering that, you need to select the sensor and you have to go through the various parameters. So for that purpose, we have seen these type of classifications, and we have seen the measurements. So SI unit, Gaussian system and British system, but our focus will be on SI unit, because throughout our system or throughout our course will be, our focus will be on SI units. That's why units of measurement we have considered. So with that, I'll stop here. Thank you for listening with patience. Thank you.